Hear me? All right. Can you hear me on YouTube? All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see. All right, I'm going to get started. All right. So I want to quickly. All right. All right. So I want to quickly do a demo, quick one, semi-structured data using Snowflake. In your career and all that you do, you're going to come across varying type of data, and you should be able to walk through that. Okay, so it's going to be a weather data, a quick weather data using like JSON format. All right, so and I want you to follow along. Please make this. I'm making this live so that we can follow along. Follow along. Follow along. Be in front of your computer. You can join YouTube with your phone or another computer. Then let's do this together. Okay. So let's start this. All right. Just bear with me now. All right. All right. So you should be able to see what I'm doing on the screen. Now, I'd like everyone to check the description of this video. If you check this video you are watching, check the description, you see the exercise there, semi-structured tutorial. So it's using a real weather data app. Okay. Let me refresh this in my workspace. So I have semi-structured data using real weather API data. Then we're just going to quickly break that down. We're just going to do it like in a very in a very amateur way, but you will learn what is there. So it's going to be real world JSON data, which will pull weather API. Okay, so we're going to use this URL. So you see this URL, I'm going to just copy it straight away. And I'd like you to do it. Where the first thing we're going to do 3 cities of your choice. This is the format. So you go to the URL, you edit where it says city name, then put your city there. Okay. You can put wherever you want. Just look for cities, maybe there is one word so that you won't bother about underscore or anything. For example, I'm going to use Kansas City, Lagos, London. You don't have to use my own. Use Pune, use Ibadan, use anywhere, Melbourne, anywhere you want. So I will do that. I will let me go to a new thing. So this is the weather for Kansas in JSON format. So you see what I'm doing right now? I just paste that. If I change this to just for you to see any if I do Paris, you see it gives me another one. It gives me for Paris for me to be sure. If I do Control F and search for country, you will see that my country is France here. It will show me like the nearest city where I pulled that from. So, but let me just stay with my Kansas to start with. So this one is the same format, but you just edit the part of the city. You understand? Put Lagos, put wherever you want. Now, once you load this JSON data, it's a lot of data like you see, but we don't need all the jargons there. We just need a portion. But to start with, I'm going to copy everything. So select, do Control A and Control C. Like I said, we're just going to do it a very easy way. Then I will paste it in a notepad. So open a new notepad, okay? Open a new notepad and paste it. Let me show my notepad. Okay. Um, all right. So open a new notepad, then paste it there. So I've done the first one. Don't save yet, just leave it and stay at the end. I've saved it there. So the next thing, I'll go back again. I want to do another city. Why don't we try? Let me try. So I save here. I'm doing London. Uh, you know what? Let me change that to Manchester actually. I want to be sure. Uh, let me do Leeds. Let me do Leeds. Okay, Leeds, United Kingdom. You see, it's Leeds United. I'm pulling the data for Leeds. So I'm going to do, I copy everything. I also come to my notepad. So in your notepad, after, I pasted the first one, then do a comma. Don't forget a comma. If you don't put a comma, your data is not going to be correct. Put a comma, then press enter, then paste that. So now that I have two records. So everything you did before was one record. Now I have two records. Okay. So another. Let me look for another city. Okay, why don't I do Pretoria? Let me try Pretoria. Okay, Pretoria, South Africa. So I just do three cities. So Control A, Control C. So I go back to my notepad. 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 You see my notepad? Notepad is on the screen. If you see my notepad. So in my notepad, I go to the bottom of it again. I say comma and I paste the third one. So let me recap all that I've done. You see, it's now very long JSON. Don't corrupt your JSON. Make sure the first one you put a comma, this next one you put a comma, everything in a notepad. Okay. So and I'm going to now save this. Control S to save it. I'm going to save it in a folder. I'm going to call it weather.json. You paste it in a notepad. Open a fresh notepad, empty notepad. Copy first one, put it there, put a comma. I will save it as weather.json. So you see it's saved. You see the top of the file is saved. Weather.json. Okay. So let's now go to Snowflake and begin our work quickly. All right. I'm going to minimize my notepad. I don't need that anymore. Then I will go to Snowflake. Snowflake. All right. So I should be in Snowflake now. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to a worksheet, a blank worksheet. This is in my own workspace. Or let me just do it in Explorer. So I'll just go into my Explorer. You see my Explorer right here. I have a raw schema. So you are in your database. Make sure you have your database. If you are watching this, create a database, have your database, have a schema. All right. Now that raw JSON file that I did, I'm just going to create it as a new table. So top right, I say create table from file. So again, don't forget you have a database, you have a schema. Create a database, create a schema. All right. Uh, Let me be sure nobody's asking question online. If you have any question, you can type it in the chat, and I will just answer you. Okay. So this database, then the schema. I'm going to say browse. So when I say browse, I will select that same file that I just saved. So weather.json. My weather.json has three entries from three different cities. I'm going to call it the same name. I just say weather. So it's creating a new table in the raw schema of the student database. Weather is the name of the table in my raw schema in my database. All I just need to do is next. The UI is intelligent. Automatically, it saw it that is a variant. It's now saying, do you want to load it as a single variant? I will check that as no, so that it can break it down for me. Okay, so you see that automatically it was able to see that I have like four categories. Okay, so for example, I'll go back to where I pulled the data. Please watch this very well. So immediately Snowflake saw that I have current condition. So current condition is an array. So pay attention to this because you will need to transverse this array. You will need to break it down. Okay. So current condition, you see, is an array. Nearest area is another array. And request another array. Weather is another array and all that. So when I try to load these, you see it's already saw it. So correct condition, nearest array, nearest area, request and weather. All of them are another array. We'll get to that in a minute, okay? So I've loaded that. All I just need to do, something very important here. If you load it directly like this, you do more work in Snowflake. Make sure that you change the data type to variant. You know, Snowflake is gracious to offer the variant data type, which can store semi-structured data. Variant. It can store semi-structured data, so do variant. So immediately recognize this. If you leave it at varchar, it's still going to work, but you now have to go and start using extra functions when you get there. Okay, so I'm checking each of them to variant. If you have issues, type that in the chat. All right, let me go ahead now. So I'm going to load. So can you see immediately this thing loaded, it shows me that I have 3 rows because I was only able to do 3 cities. Remember, I think I did Pretoria, I can't even remember again, maybe Manchester and something else. All right. So I can say view table details. Okay. So you see all my data is in. So I have 4 columns, but all the 4 columns they are what? They are variants. So now I have some work to break them down. Okay. I put everything in the description of the video so you can just follow along. So I've created a table now. I can go to if I go to my worksheet and say, select star from student DB, that's my database, my schema, then weather. So you're going to see my data is there, raw. You see, it's just raw like that. Now I need it to make sense, to flatten. Then what I also want to do, my goal is select only what I need. This is a lot of data. Let's go back to the raw data. See where we put it from. A lot of data. Can you see? Chances of rain, chances of thunder, chance. I don't need all those things. Huh? I am not going to do that. And he also gave me weather result for like every hour. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to select this gigantic JSON file. I'm going to just select a few that I need. So just follow me, follow me. Description is in the video, and you can follow me. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to go to current condition. Okay. I will just select all the information here. I think I need almost everything current condition. I may not need, I'm going to remove some, but so I already prepared the query just for you to see. So this is my guide I pasted in the description of this video, that you just paste the 3 cities here. You have your table created. Make sure it's variant. I talked about all of that. It is not varchar. You can describe the table and you can see what the table is. Then select stuff from your weather. Make sure the data is there like my own. I hope we are doing well so far. Make sure you are doing in this video. So now the code is in the description. Somebody said, thank you very much for that. So I will go ahead. So why don't I just focus here? So this is it. I'm going to use this. So I like you to, if you are still following me, like I said here, there's a function called pass JSON. We're not using it because we already did it as variant. If for any reason you did not select your column as variant, you will see it as varchar. Then you have to now struggle to start using pass JSON function. Sometimes you may need to do that, but we're not doing that. So see, I'm just going to copy my code that is ready here. I will copy, then I put it in my worksheet here. All right. By the way, it's in my file in workspace. We keep calling worksheet. Snowflake has duplicated worksheet. This is just a SQL file in my workspace. So you see that. Now, if I run this now, it's going to break this down. Let's quickly go through it so that you understand. Look at the raw data. This is the raw data. Now, by the way, there's another function you can use in Snowflake, like lateral function, lateral flattening, but I'm not using that because I really want to teach us dot notation. You can read that up in Snowflake documentation, and Snowflake dot notation. So that's what we are using to break down, querying semi-structured data. If you have JSON, you can use dot notation. If I say dot notation, you see it here. You can go to the documentation and do dot notation. And that's what we are doing now. So if you have a JSON, a complex JSON file, then you can use dot notation to traverse through that file. So look at this now. This is my complex JSON file. Let's pay attention here. You see everything is starting with a curly braces and ending with a curly braces. I know some of my friends call it flower braces, whatever. The braces, it starts with that and ends with that. Sometimes your JSON may have an outer array, which you have to strip first, but this one doesn't have an outer array, right? Now, that means I can go straight and I go to once I do the column, I go to current condition. All right. But look at current condition. Current condition itself is an array. So that means before I can get into current condition, I must break it out. I must specify that it's an array. And current condition just have one element. So these all things that you see, these all things that you see here is just one element in this array. This is the closing, this is the closing bracket, this is the opening square bracket, and everything in between is just one element. And that's why here in my worksheet, I went to say it should go into current condition, then go to the first element. The indexing starts from 0. That means 0 is the first element. Assuming there are 2 elements and I want number 2, I can change this to 1. But this is 0. That means the first element. You can read all that up, okay? So I will go into current condition, okay? Let's take it slowly. Current condition, then I want this feel like C. All right, that's the centigrade Fahrenheit, okay? So the current condition feels like C. So I will come here, I will say current condition. You now see after I open up the array, then that's when I will select the child elements. Okay, so let's go back there. You say I will open up the array, then the next child element is this one. So this is the key here, and the value is 9. All right, that's how you're going to do that. Okay, the result of that, I want you to cast it as varchar, and the name of the column finally will be this one. Okay, so I wanted to do all of that. Okay, you know what, there's some that I might not need. I think I'm going to remove this cloud over. I don't need that. You can do that. Many of them will come with 0 and all that, and I don't need it. Visibility and visibility miles, I'm going to remove that. I don't need that. I will stay there. Wind speed, miles, degree. Okay, I'm going to query it first, then I'll remove the ones I don't need. So, but you see, everything follows the same pattern for current condition. You break current condition, you access the first element. Then after that, you go into the child element. Then you cast that. Now, I want to move to the next column, which is nearest area. You see, the same thing, I go to nearest area. If you go to the raw data, look at nearest area, you see that nearest area also is an array. So I will access the first element, which is area name. So that means nearest area box 0. Then I will do full column area name. But see, before I can access Pretoria, area name itself is also an array. Can you see? So there is no way I will get the value Pretoria if I don't break up area name. So if I come here, you see that, you see I did area name. So nearest area 0. I also have to now do area name 0. Unlike, when I was here, I didn't have to break this one down. Okay. So I have to do area name 0. Okay. Dot value. That means I have to go into area name, look at the array, and I will now select the value. Okay. You see, this is the value. Value is the name of the key. So area name dot value. That's when I can get access to Pretoria. If you don't break it down, you will never be able to access the content. All right. That's what was done there. Now, the same thing when I get to the weather, I want to know when it's sunrise, want to know when it's sunset. You see, I just selected a few things here. So I went to weather here. Seeing weather, weather is a whole array. Okay, that weather that is in a whole array, weather has astronomy in it, but it's a long array. See, all of this is still under weather, but I don't need all that. So I just went to weather and now say weather should give me, come here, see, I went to weather, I broke it down, I went to the first element and say go to astronomy, then go to the first element in astronomy. See, I went to weather, I went to astronomy, I went to the first element because you see, astronomy itself is an array. If astronomy was not an array, I can just say straight and say astronomy dot sunrise. But I can't do that now because astronomy is an array. I have to say astronomy, put that box 0 before I now put a dot. All I want, I don't need moonrise, moon, sunset, and all that. I just want the sunrise and sunset. Okay? So why don't we run this? Then I'm going to remove the ones that I don't need. Let me fully qualify my table so that it will not give me an error. Students BB dot. I think that's what I want. All right, let's see. Let's run and see what I have. Okay, you see how I break down everything. So gradually I'm going to do that. I'm going to remove these precipitation inches and millimeter. I don't think I need that. Precipitation inches, millimeter. I will leave pressure. I will leave that. I'm going to leave pressure inches. I'm going to leave temperature in centigrade, temperature in Fahrenheit. UV index is good. Weather code is good. Weather description. So that day is sunny, is clear, is smoggy, all of that. The wind point degree, wind point kilometer per hour. I can leave that. Let me leave that. Wind speed miles, I'm going to leave that. Area name, country, latitude, longitude, the population. If it's recorded, you will find the population. If it's not recorded, it's just 0. The region, so Manchester is, Leeds is in West Yorkshire. Pretoria is in this area. I think I have a student here that lived there in that area before. They will be able to tell me if the region is correct. Kansas is where that area of Ellenwood is, then sunrise, sunset. So I want to arrange this properly. I want to put all about the information of the area first. So let me go to, I'm going to copy all this. Nearest, I'm going to copy area name, country, yeah, latitude, longitude, population, and region. Okay, why don't let me put region after country. Yes. I'll put region after country, then I'll put longitude and latitude down. And population actually, population after country. I think it makes sense like that. So I'll put all of these at the beginning of my query. Um, okay, so select that first. Yeah, before I get my weather condition. Okay, so let me run this and see. Okay, good. This is the area name, Pretoria, Leeds. This is Kansas area that is causing a Ellenwood. It told me the country where that is. It told me their population, if it's recorded, the region, and I see their latitude, their longitude. I see. So it feels like this right now. It feels like this in Fahrenheit, the humidity, the time it was observed, it was 10:21 p.m. at that time, the pressure, blah, 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 blah. So you see that our data, we just got it from API. Now, in real production, you could probably use Python or use some ingestion tool, OpenFlow, ADF to pull this data directly and use it. That's it. I have OpenFlow video on my channel. Do well, you can go through that. You can use that. For example, in OpenFlow, you can use invoke HTTP to connect to this API endpoint and pull data. But the main thing I'm focusing today is really flattening your data. Okay, so now I have all of this. If you follow my tutorial I put in the description of this video, my students also, they have it in their workspace. But let me go to this. Now I now want to create a view to persist what I've done. So I will just say create or replace view. So you know what I have right now is just a query. I have to run it every time I need the result, and I don't want to do that. So I will just persist what I've done as a query. So I'm saying create or replace view raw weather. Uh, I'm going to fully qualify with my database. All right, raw weather as that. So if I do this, let me run that and let's see. All right, so I call it weather underscore view. That's what he's doing now. So I have this view. So anytime I need my data, I don't have to bother with the raw again. I don't have to so select star from my raw weather. And if I do that, I get my results straight away. I don't need to bother. You don't even know how it came. You don't know all the transformation that I did. Uh, you just see only the columns I selected. Meanwhile, look at the raw. See how the raw is. See how long it is. See how this is only for one record. See a lot of information. We didn't include anything like this. So that's the beauty of these things that we do. And you see how you can do that in Snowflake. All right. And I have my view. Now, the next exercise that we're going to do, beautiful again, is this. Pay attention to these. I'm now going to go and look for new cities. So I'm going to do the same and look for 3 new cities. See now, let me do Tokyo. All right. I'm just going to do Tokyo. All right. I'll do Tokyo. Now I'm going to copy everything in Tokyo. Okay. Now I'm going back to my notepad. I will just do a new notepad and paste that. So I paste Tokyo. All right. I'll put a comma. Don't forget your comma. If you forget your comma, your data will not be good. Put a comma. Then I will go grab another one. Let me grab Nairobi. All right. I will do Nairobi. And this is Nairobi, Control A, Control C. I'll go to my notepad. I'll paste it there. I put another comma. All right. I want to do another one. Let me do Pune in India. Okay. Pune. All right. I have that Control A, Control C. I'll go back to my notepad. I'll paste that. I hope you're following me. Uh, I'm going to go do Dubai. Okay, let me do Dubai. All right, I'll do Control C. All right, I need a suggestion in the chat. Somebody give me one city to do. I need to do 2 more. Give me a suggestion. Type in the chat. Suggest a city that you like. Type it in the chat, in the YouTube chat. I'm going to see that. Uh, I make sure I put my comma, press enter. Okay, let me check my chat for suggestion. Okay, somebody suggested Calgary. Okay, let's do Calgary. Okay, I'm going to go here and do Calgary. I'll press enter. I control C. I'll go back here, put a comma, paste that. Let me check my YouTube for suggestion. Somebody type, give me a city in the YouTube chat. I need one more city to add to this. Sorry. Okay. Uh, I will look for that. Uh, okay. Let's see if I can do. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. It's also there. So I will put that. I'll put a comma. Press, I paste that, and I think I have that. Let me just add one more. Let me just add, I'm coming. Let me just add one more. Let me put Singapore. Singapore. Singapore is the city. Singapore is the country. Control C. I'm going to put that in comma and press enter. And I think I am good. All right. So if you're following me so far, I'm going to save this notepad. I will I will save it. I will give it uh I will give it weather1 dot JSON. Okay, weather1 dot JSON. All right, that should be good. So I'll go to my Snowflake. All right, if you are still following me, thumbs up on the YouTube chats. Let me be sure you are still seeing what I'm doing and you are following good. Okay. All right, thank you. So I am going to go into my my raw schema. So I'll come to the raw schema, my student DB, my raw schema. I'll go to that table. Now I'm not creating a new table, okay? I will use that same weather table, okay? But I will now say load data. I need to minimize this notepad for you. Okay? So if you are still following me, please thumbs up and be sure. Let me be sure you are seeing. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Uma. Thank you. I see you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I will come here. So I go to the same weather table. The same weather table. I will now say load data. So it already have the structure of the table. So so I'll browse. Then I'll choose my weather one. Okay. So you see my weather1 JSON is loaded now. I will say next. The first issue you will have is if it doesn't match, it will complain. But now it saw that it matches. Okay. So it matches, but it gave me a few complaints. It's just warning, it's not error. So it just say data type does not match. What does it mean? That data type does not match. And I'll tell you the reason. Snowflake automatically, you see, it made it uppercase once you create those columns. But the one that is bringing is lowercase. That's one thing that is trying to do there. But I will just insist that it's fine because I know that everything is okay. All right. If you want to do table preview, you can do it. You see how the data is, but just going to leave it here. You see, so I have one, two, three, yes, 5 columns, right? Good. So I just go into 4 columns. So I'm just going to load data. So when I load data, I expect it. So I have 7 rows. So we added 7 countries. All right. When I view my table, you see all the data now. Before we had 3, then I brought 7 more. So altogether we have 7 and we have 10. Okay. Now you see the beauty of creating a view. Now in Snowflake, I don't need to do anything. Nothing. Because the work was done once and for all. I created the view, I did everything. I don't need to do anything. Once I just go to my view, the last view we created, I will just say run the view and the view is working automatically. Can you see? Can you see? So as I load data, if I go there now, I do another 15 or 20 countries. I don't need to do anything. Automatically, the view will flatten it for me. Why? Because the view already has the logic. If I refresh this place, you see I have views here. If I go to weather view, if I go to the data, sorry, not data preview, view details, you see that the logic is there, it's persisted. So that means every row that it sees, it's going to apply this logic, right? I know this is basic lesson for some people. Some you don't need this, but some people that are getting into Snowflake, they need this. Okay. Every time you see, I don't have to go and bother to start breaking down array. Now I can load 1 million record, and automatically, if I load 1 million record, I get my result. I hope you have found this very useful. If you have any question, you can leave me a comment later. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There are other videos that can help you there. And you can do some other, I have some challenges you can go ahead and do after now. And these are the challenges. All right. The bonus is that you can go ahead and try and use lateral flatten. So there's something called lateral flatten. Lateral flatten, try and use it instead of flattening it yourself. So it's something that Snowflake has. Just give it a try. Uh, Try loading data without casting it as variants like I did before. If you do it as varchar, see what happens. Okay. My students, you already see this in your workspace, but I'm going to also paste this bonus challenge in the YouTube chat. Okay. Then key takeaway today, we learn the variant type. We saw the indexing, which is very important. Don't forget that indexing. It access elements within a JSON array. If it's an array, you must break down the index. We use the dot notation, the key, then we casted it. I didn't talk about that because I know many of us, you know that already. Casting was done. So you see, by the time we break everything down, I have to cast. If I did not cast it, you will see that the result will not be clear. For example, I will get clear, but it will have double quotes on it. So if you have your own as double quotes, that means you probably did not cast. All right, I'll post the bonus challenges in the chat, then that will be it for this session. Okay. Um, Share this with other people trying to learn Snowflake. Okay, so bonus challenge, try to modify and see if you can. All right. Modify the view to also include that. You can write, then finally, then you can compare. Okay. All right. This is where we end it.